Issues number 26 and 27 of Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron comics. And this story arc is made up of only 2 issues, Family Ties, but it pretty much gets to the point. Super fun story arc. It's titled Family Ties, and it takes place right after the making of Baron Fell. Well, we were taken on a trip to memory lane by Baron Fell narrating, while in captivity, his life story. And at the end, tells Wedge that he is there to help the rogues, and in return, they need to help him find his wife. Because, backtracking a little bit, while he was having this change of heart and opening his eyes, things were escalating, and his wife he was foreseeing that she was going to be in danger when they realized who she really was, Wedge's sister. So he told her to flee and that he will find her. So that's where we're at. He's there with the rogues, but they need to help him search for his missing wife. So, or his wife in hiding, rather. And Wedge, of course, he acts right on it. That's his sister. So it starts off with a funeral with fallen comrades, traditional funeral for pilots, it seems like, for the rogues. Everybody's feeling a lot. Everybody's sad, as you can imagine, understandably. And right after the funeral, talk about bad timing, Wedge introduces Baron into the team and to the team. So after the funeral, which a lot of these deaths were caused by Baron Fell and his, Imperials, you can say, teammates, there was a reaction. It wasn't good. I believe it was Niren who lashed out. There was a lot of words exchanging. Baron Fell still kept his cool, as always, but understandably, the rogues were pretty much looking at Wedge like, what are you doing? He's the enemy. But Wedge starts going back, explaining everything, and that they have this expert now on their side. And there's a lot of talk of like, hey, why did it take that long? And there's others that are realizing, well, better late than never, that sort of thing. Timing really doesn't mean anything to realize that you're on the wrong side. So Baron Fell is with the rogues. So he's not in this issue much, but the issue is about him, you can say, and because he's needing to search for his wife. So Wedge right away dispatches part of the team to Corellia to get answers and start this search. And they hesitate, but they have to follow orders. And once Wedge kind of discloses this information that Baron's wife is married to his sister, Sayao, immediately they have a change of heart, kind of like, hey, anything for Wedge, that sort of thing. And they go down to Corellia following orders. And they meet with some of the Fells. And it turns out that one of the Fells, a child, is, I believe it's Baron Fell's nephew. If I'm not mistaken, he's kidnapped. And the reason why he was kidnapped is because now the Imperials are onto this, that they kidnapped this kid, to get answers to where Sayao, her whereabouts. So it's already starting. So they team up with Koran Horn, who's at this point in time, in this timeline, he's still in Corsic in Corellia, and they have an adventure with him. And there's many people involved, in particular, a man by the name of Post. We read about him before when Baron Fell was telling his life story in the previous issue. We read how Post was involved in an altercation with Baron Fell that changed kind of his course in his life. So now this person, years later, Post is back and up to no good and teaming up with the Imperials, kidnapping this kid. And obviously the Imperials are involved and everything. And that's pretty much what the Family Ties storyline, that's how it starts off, and that's what it's about, the gist of it overall. I feel it was a great continuation right after the making of Baron Fell. It had some funny moments. There is quite a bit of action, but it's mostly dialogue, and it's the search for Sayao, and a lot of things are happening, and they have to find this kid to help the Fells out. And one thing I loved is we get to hear about Whistler, Corin Horn's droid, and Corin Horn's in an X-wing, and just if you're a fan of Corin Horn, this is a treat, to be honest with you. So a lot of things happen. Great 2-story arc, family ties continuing the storyline within the Star Wars X-wing comics. And yes, they find the kid in this amazing way that Plur is able to save this child from falling down from a couple of stories up in a building by Post, and they deal with Post in this crazy way. They save this child, and they're still in search of Sayal. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of issues.